Good evening, our beloved viewers. It's 9 p.m. You are watching on live RTD channel. Welcome to this English news edition. Here are the top stories. Corporation Djibouti received first batch of Johnson vaccine. And on the international scene about COVID-19 economic recovery, Africa calls for $100 billion. Those were the headlines. Thanks for joining us in our newsroom. The government of United States of America has donated 151,200 doses of Johnson COVID-19 vaccine to the Republic of Djibouti. The first batches of vaccine arrived this morning at the Djibouti airport and were handed over by the U.S. ambassador to Djibouti, Mr. Jonathan Pratt, to the Ministry of Health, Mr. Ahmed Roble Abdili. During a ceremony held in the Djibouti airport compound, the ceremony was attended by the senior official of the United Nations system, including the coordinator, Ms. Barbara Menzi, the representative of the representative of UNICEF, Ms. Melva Johnson, the representative of the World Health Organization, the Secretary General of the Health, Dr. Salah Banoita, the senior health official. The first doses of vaccine from the U.S. government are part of the Joe Biden and Harris administration's commitment to share the U.S. vaccine supply with the world while continuing the fight against COVID-19 in the United States. President Joe Biden has pledged to support pandemic effort through the COVAX program by making available doses of vaccine to defeat this virus. Escorted by the Security Service of the Gendarmerie, the donation of 124,200 doses of the Johnson vaccine have been sent to the camp center of PK-13 and will be quickly in the vaccination circuit of the Djiboutian population. The United States of Ambassador to Djibouti, Mr. Jonathan Pratt, emphasized that this donation will help and protect the Djiboutian population from the devastating effect of the COVID-19 pandemic, adding that the United States is proud to be the main donor of the COVAX initiatives on the COVID-19 initiated by the United Nations. For his part, the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble Abdili, thanked the U.S. government. The minister recalled that the beneficiaries of Johnson vaccine will be protected with only one dose as opposed to the vaccine required two doses. He also affirmed that these batches of vaccine will allow to the reinforce the immunization recovery of the Djiboutian population. The Minister of Energy, Mr. Younis Ali Gedi, sponsored yesterday a workshop to validate a law for activities related to the Djibouti Geothermal Energy Development Office. Indeed, this workshop aims at promulgating a law aiming at promoting the development of geothermal resources through surface exploitation, well drilling, and finally the exploitation of resources for the benefit of a highly commendable geothermal exploitation for the entire Djiboutian population. The ODDEG, headed by Dr. Ghayad Musa Ahmed, has reinforced the implementation of ambitious objective of the Djibouti government to enhance and accelerate the development and exploitation of undeniable geothermal resources in our subsoil. This will allow us the rapid development of geothermal resources throughout the national territory. This workshop brought together several partners, including the representative of UNDP, a representative of the government of Japan, Russia, Germany, French, and Djiboutian Laos. The Minister of Energy recalled in his speech that his ministry, together with the partnership of the ODDEG, will provide affordable quality energy at a lower cost for all Djiboutian population. The minister also ensured greater energy independence and made geothermal energy a basic source in the country's energy mix. This is ODDEG is a vision for the coming years. The Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity, Ms. Olufa Ismail Abdo, went this Wednesday morning to the city of Ali Sabih to see the socio-economic impact of the development project carried out by the Djiboutian Agency for Social Development, known as ADDS, accompanied by the director of ADDS as well as his close collaborators, namely Ms. Amina Ahmed Warsama, the Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity, Ms. Ulufa, was welcomed by the local authorities, namely the Prefect of Ali Sabih region, Mr. Musa Aden Migane, but also the representative of the hemicycle of the region, Abdou Sekiye. The delegation then went to the regional council to make contact with the customary chief locals and women leaders and officials of the region. In turn, the Ministry of Social Affairs and Solidarity thanked her interlocutors for their fraternal and warm welcome. In turn, the Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity thanked her interlocutor for their fraternal welcome. That this visit aimed to see the smooth running of the work, especially the socio-economic impact of the development project. After this step, the Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity, Ms. Ulufa, and her strong delegation headed for the sub-prefecture of Ali Adde, where the local population welcomed her, the favor with the sub-prefect of Ali Adde, the customary chief of this locality, and many inhabitants of the village of sub-prefecture, housing a huge camp over 1,000 of refugees from neighboring countries. Very quickly after inquiring into the many grievances of the population, the delegation was able to begin guided tours of some projects such as Ali Ad solar power plant, an infrastructure built by the Djiboutian Social Development Agency. The visit to the sub-prefecture ended with the visit to the GIA activities. The mutual aid and affinity groups are, let us remember, the main tool for sustainable development and poverty reduction in this locality. In fact, in component 3 of the project, which is called Substance Resources Program, it is planned to create and support 12 women as a group through the concept of a mutual aid and affinity. Since their creation, these women in support have saved a lot of money by contributing 200 franc Djibouti per woman and her and these women of Ali Ade to date the number of activities create and strengthen 123. In her speech, the minister and her delegation were greeted by the client, singing and dancing. In a few words, she thanked them for this warm welcome and encouraged them to use saving credit and social engagement as an instrument of empowerment. She said that the income generating is the main tool for sustainable development and poverty reduction in the locality. Embassy. On the same day, the delegation was able to visit the premises of CPEC Sud, and this gained on an overview of activities and challenges facing its administrators. Indeed, the minister and her delegation were greeted by the clients saving uh, and the few words she thanked them for this warm welcome. And also this was an opportunity for the new head of social affairs and solidarity department to see the impact of a development project implemented by IDDS for the citizens of this region in the southern of Djibouti. And now the Minister of Trade and Tourism, Mr. Mohammed Warsama Diri, received late on Thursday morning in his office the Yemeni ambassador credit to Djibouti. During this audience, the talks focus on bilateral relations and ways to further strengthen them, particularly in the areas of trade and tourism. The two countries are bound by strong relations in many areas, and during this interview, the Minister of Trade and Tourism and the Yemeni ambassador were discussed ways and means of strengthening advantage. The Minister of Trade and Tourism, Mohammed Warsama, promised to the Yemeni ambassador credit in Djibouti his support in the performance of his mission in Djibouti to enhance cooperation between the two countries. The Secretary General of the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Abdullah Mohammed Mahyoub, presided this morning a ceremony of awarding a certificate of vocational training for the winners of the training lifeguards. The ceremony took place at the headquarters of the MENFOP in the presence of the commander of Djibouti Coast Guard, Colonel Wais Omar Bukhari, the Director General of Technical Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Abdul Qadir Ahmed. It should be noted that this training include the theoretical and practical part of a 4 month and practical summer internship of 2 months to practice trick of trade and lifeguards on public beaches, hotel pools, and other places such as summer camp. After 8 months of training, 15 young laureates received today their certificate of vocational training of batching supervisor life issued by the General Director of Technical Education and Vocational Training. And now moving on to the international scenes, economic recovery. Africa asked for $100 billion, how to give a boost to African economies weakened by the health issues. The subject was at a center of a World Bank summit on the economic recovery of Africa held Thursday in the Abidjan capital of Cote d'Ivoire to get out of the economic recession caused by the health crisis. Some of 10 leaders of the continent present in the economic capital of Abidjan, the capital of Cote d'Ivoire, have once again demanded an envelope of $100 billion. In addition to this urgent need for a liquidity of funds, Africa is also waiting for initiative concerning its debt. The chairman of the African Union Commission, Mr. Moussa Faki, said, "We will never tire of calling for an urgent restructuring of debt accompanied by a bold policy that goes beyond what is provided for in terms of special rights to relieve pressing need for liquidity for the purchase of vaccines and to lay the foundation for economic recovery." This is it for this edition. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful evening.